Hello everybody, so I'm making this video on my phone because I actually am re-recording this video because my camera just died on me. Of course, it just died on me. Anyway, excuse me. I haven't been on YouTube for a very long time, so I'm just like spitting out videos. And yes, this is one that's very important to me and that I just want to talk about. So the High Priestess. So if you guys have seen my other video in regards to, I hate the way my breasts look with this shirt on. But anyway, if you guys have seen my other video regarding like why I haven't been recording on YouTube for a long time, I mentioned the High Priestess. This is the video that I'm talking about. And I'm like sitting like this. So this is the video that I'm talking about. And of course I haven't done my hair. No, I haven't. Nice representation. Anyway, the High Priestess. The High Priestess, the position of the High Priestess was very difficult for me to accept. Like I mentioned in the other video, is because of the responsibility that the High Priestess holds. So just in case you guys don't know, the High Priestess is the second card of the Major Arcana in the Tarot. She is, so it's the Fool, the Magician, and then the High Priestess. So the High Priestess is the entity that sits between the pillars, pillar B and pillar J, in front of King Solomon's temple. And in the back there are pomegranates that represent where the gods reside, or the underworld. Or some gods reside. Some people say it represents the underworld, and some people say that it just represents the different sections of heaven, or the heavens. It just represents where the gods reside. And then the High Priestess is the veil, or the entity that sits in between the pillars, in between this world, this physical world, and the other worlds. However, pillar B and pillar J, I'm just giving you guys a brief description, but pillar B and pillar J are the pillars that are in front of King Solomon's temple that guarded the Ark of the Covenant. And the temple was created to worship, or to have the covenant, or to not worship, well, yes, worship, but it was more to represent their devotion to their God Yahweh, which is the God of Judaism, for those of you that didn't know. So the temple was created for those purposes, and to hold the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant. I don't know why I keep saying the art, but it's the Ark of the Covenant. And so the Torah it says tarot here, but it's not. It's actually it's Torah, not tarot. Some people say that it represents the tarot, but it's not. It's the Torah. The cross represents her balance between her divine feminine and her divine masculine. The crown, or her crown, represents Isis, Persephone, Artemis, and the divine Virgin Mary. The moon here represents the intuition and people's subconscious. The back here, the little cube here, represents the earth, and her blue robe represents the divine wisdom. However, you will say, well, Madeline, aren't you like a witch? Aren't you supposed to be a high priestess all the time? Yeah. Easier said than done. Okay? The High Priestess is not just, it's not just about you making spells. It's not about you just knowing the tarot, or knowing how to like be good with your senses, or learn how to make potions and spells and all of this stuff. And it has everything to do with that, but in your own life, it has zero to do with that. Or in my own life, it had zero to do with that. It had to do with my purpose. It had to do with my responsibility, and knowing that I was the High Priestess. You're probably not going to read this in books, but this is what I've learned after I took the position and understood my purpose. Previously to me understanding my purpose, I was so fucking bitter. I wasn't doing my spells. I wasn't lighting my candles. I was letting everybody push all over me. I was letting people just do spells, and I just wouldn't give a fuck. Only because deep down inside, I just didn't want to succeed for other people. And it was a time of my life where I learned my sacrifice. I already knew who I was. When people say you know who you are, you know your purpose, I already knew that. However, I didn't want to take the responsibility of who I am, or the responsibility of my purpose. I didn't want to do that at all. I tried my best to just fuck everybody's life, and not understanding that my actions cause my actions in the spiritual realm or in the spiritual community can cause a lot of turmoil, or not, only because people don't understand that when you cross over to this side of life, and you cross over and you eat a pomegranate, let's just say, you are going to understand a lot of things and a lot of limitations that you have, a lot of information that you have, a lot of just understanding that just regular people, or people that are not on the side of spirituality, or that don't understand the tree of life or the tree of knowledge, will not have or don't have. They just won't. Like, the church will not give you this. I'm sorry. It's bullshit. They're not. But I had a hard time accepting that. I had a hard time accepting that in this community, we are a community. We are a brethren. We are a sisterhood. And I had to keep my commitments, and I just didn't want to do it because I wasn't getting things in my life how I wanted them and with whom I wanted them. Even though I had parasites all around me, people giving themselves consultation on a daily basis, they're probably still doing that shit. Oh my God, they're probably like subscribed to this channel, watching videos on a daily basis. It's disgusting. I just didn't want to fucking do it. Okay. And I'll explain somewhere in the future what I had to do and the sacrifices that I've had to make for my spirituality and for myself and for the world and for my position in this world. It's a lot. It was a lot to take in, because sometimes when you are part of a community, even if you're not like a Mason, you still have to adhere to the contracts and your purpose, and no matter whose head falls, and a lot of heads have fallen, like a lot, all because of the things that I've had to do. I've had to keep things from myself. I've had to keep things from other people, or information from other people, or my friends, my family, my boyfriend. I've had to keep information guarded, so that I can, as a form of protection, so that I don't harm more people. I've had to act like I was like totally dumb and not know what the fuck was going on with myself for a very long period of time, for months at a time, because I just didn't want to do it. I just didn't want to move forward, because the decision that I had to make would have to just a lot of people's heads were gonna roll, and in my practice I go by unconditional love, accepting people for who they are. Even if I curse you the fuck out, I don't give a fuck. I still accept that you are who you are, whether you're a parasite or not, in my eyes. I still have to accept you. And it was difficult for me having to learn that I not only had to accept people, but also give them a taste of their own medicine in many ways. I've had to learn to cleanse myself when energy was coming back to me and I didn't understand why, but it was because I still wasn't wanting to take my position. So the information that was hidden from me was allowing these things to come back to me after I've done work on other people, because they had done work on me. I don't know if that makes sense, but now that I know what was being hidden from me, it's all the work and everything and all my effort is gonna pay off. But what was I gonna say? The responsibility of the High Priestess goes beyond the physical realm. It goes beyond knowledge. It goes beyond that responsibility. And me knowing that as an adult, I still had a hard time. I'm telling you guys, I had a very hard time to fulfill that contracts and my spiritual contracts. So word of advice, if you guys are doing past life readings and you guys just figure out that you have like a lot of burden and responsibility, and you guys have a lot of things to do in this life to correct things from your past life to be able to move on in this life, and your interactions with everyone that you have in this life are due to things that you've had to correct, because that's essentially what it is. You're not coming back just because the archons are pushing you back here. You're coming back so that you can create a bigger force field, or create your energy field in a healthier manner. There is no right and wrong. I've had to learn there is no right or wrong. They're just decisions that you make that have consequences. There is no such thing as right or wrong. There is no such thing as doing things that's wrong. For example, if somebody comes for my child, if I'm a mother and somebody comes for my child and I find out you're coming for my child, and the moment I find out you're coming for my child and I'm not doing anything about it, that is wrong. If you are a mom that knows that they're coming for your child and you do nothing, you do everything for it, and you even kill for it, that is right. Even if you had to kill people for it, that is right. That is righteous. Okay? If you, and I'm saying this in a very contradicting way, because I just told you guys that there is no right or wrong, because there's some people, if them doing nothing, let's say, for example, again, if I was a mom and I did nothing and people were coming for my kid, that is wrong in a sense. Not that it's wrong, because sometimes there are relationships that maybe that child in my past life was somebody that I mistreated me, and so therefore there is a reason why I'm like allowing things to happen, even though my title of a mother in this world is everything in the human world. But again, I know it's contradicting that I said that portion was wrong and the other example wasn't wrong. However, if you look at it, there's nothing wrong with the mother that isn't taking care of that child. Why? Because in the reality and the facts of the matter is, you don't know why that's happening. You don't know the contracts behind that action. So therefore, there is no such thing as right or wrong. There is no such thing. I'm telling you, I'm going to repeat it. There is no such thing as right or wrong. There's things that happen because they have to happen, and because these contracts have to be made, no matter how much the contract hurts you. There's no such thing as right or wrong. Now, I've had to find out. I have not read this anywhere. Nobody has told me this, but as the experience that I am having, or that I had as well, is that the High Priestess is the veil. She is the veil. She is the physical veil, or the physical representation of the veil between this world and other worlds and other parts of heaven. Other parts of heaven, because there are other universes out there. There are other places within the universe. And so heaven is a very vast place. So she is the guardian of this world, the cube, meaning the earth. The cube is a representation of the earth. And she covers the earth and protects the earth from what is seen to be reality, or what is reality and what is not, or what is seen and what is hidden. I've also had to find out that she also represents fertility. Why? Because if she's sitting on top of the cube, that means she's giving birth to souls. She is, I'm going to say it again, if she's sitting and she's having her bottom on top of the earth, that means she's giving birth to souls coming in and out of this world and other worlds. And she is also androgynous. Even though her face and her name is the High Priestess, she is still androgynous. You don't know what's behind or what's under her blue robe, other than the cube that you can see. But what is hidden, what is behind that, you cannot see. The sacrifice that the divine feminine within all of us has to make is sometimes something that hurts. It's very painful, and I don't like to take pain. I'll be the one to like take out my tooth if I have to actually did that. So, because I don't like pain. So the High Priestess maintains the pain. She takes the pain. No matter how difficult the situation is, she takes the pain. And me, I did not want to unravel or unscroll my Torah. I did not want to finish reading my Torah. I did not want to sign my Torah. And my Torah is the contract, okay? The Torah is the contract that the High Priestess knows you have to keep. And some things within that Torah, your life story, are hidden and others are not. That's why there's a piece of it that is out and the other one is in, which is hidden. Okay, so when you are about to enter the Temple of Solomon, or you're about to cross the veil into the Temple of Solomon, you're going to see what is hidden. You're going to see the contracts that are hidden. You're going to see the covenant. And that, to me, was very difficult to accept. Once I went behind that veil and I saw my covenant and I saw my contract and I had to read it and reread it to make sure that I wasn't going to end up in the choky, that was difficult for me and I did not want to accept it. The consequences of me not wanting to accept my contract or my Torah or the story of who I am was having to be belittled. I'm still being belittled by people still laughing at me, which I don't give a fuck about. I don't know why I don't know why these parasites feel like I give a fuck about it. I don't, because I've already accepted my Torah. So I can be here at my mother's house while you guys are out there living the lavish life, or with somebody that loves you, or that's somebody that cares for you, or that's somebody that actually wants to be with you. I don't care, because I've already accepted my Torah. You have not accepted your Torah, because I am still the center of your attention. I am still the center of the universe. Whatever I do is only then when you make your decision. I have to move forward for you to make your decision. I have to move in my life for you to have something to talk about. That's sad. That's a little sickening. That's a little sickening if you ask me. But I am the High Priestess, and I now know that. So the moment you realize the High Priestess within you, whether you're a man or a woman, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very painful to know the contract or your covenant that you have with this world and the hidden world and the gods and the goddesses of the other world. And it is also the most painful way to understanding your goddess and godhood. The High Priestess is your initiation to your goddess, to your god and goddesshood. Even though she's the second card of the tarot, she once you pass this card and you move on to the next, that's when you actually become initiated. So she also represents the initiation. So you are the Fool. You start a new beginning. You start a new life, which means starting a new life. You're a soul. So let's say that you're a soul in the cosmos or in the ethers, in the heavens, starting a new life. You're now once you make that decision that you're gonna reincarnate, you now move on to becoming the magician. I will move these cards and show you these cards, because people just don't get that the tarot is literally telling you who you are. It is giving you your story. It's not just divining for people. It's giving you the story and the origins of who you are in the simplest of terms and where you're going. But yes, my hair isn't done. So you have the Fool. And then you have, where the fuck is my Magician? And then you have the Magician. So you have the Fool, the Magician, and the High Priestess. So you have the Fool. So you're a fresh new energy in the cosmos. Moving on to the Magician, which is the divine creator. So you're creating the contract using all the elements, as above, so below, right? So you're, excuse me, you are creating everything that's above. So you're above here in this section of your life, or as the Fool, you're above, you're in the ethers, and now you're creating things so that you can be in the material world. And then once you've created the contract, you must now face the contract and live by your contract. Once you walk through the pillars of Solomon's temple. Okay, so that's a little teaching for you guys in regards to the High Priestess, and another way of learning what the High Priestess is and who she really represents. So that is my little reading, and that is my little intake or information that I have in regards to the High Priestess for now and my experience with her. So when you guys tell your children, tell your your unborn kids, you want to talk to them, I'm sure they can hear you. Or your kids that are over the age of 18 and that they are looking now for their purpose. And you're in this spiritual world and you can explain it to them like this, understand. Do not tell them to put on their rose-colored glasses, because it's not true. It's going to be painful. You're going to have experiences that you're not going to like. But these constructs have to be fulfilled. Or if not, your frequency, there's a possibility that your frequency will be lowered, or that you have an experience that is not a wrong experience, but it is an experience in quote-unquote lower frequencies of the heavens, okay? And I'm going to leave it at that. And then I'll do other videos in regards to other topics that I want to talk about throughout the year. So thank you so much for listening, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.